My name is Drake. This is my 2017 Camaro SS, and I just wanted to show you guys pretty much how to do a two-step install. I ordered the Holley two-step. I'm pretty sure it's pretty much the same kit as what MSD sells. I think there's a couple other companies that sell it too, but they're all pretty much the same kit. It's pretty much a full bolt-on car. It's got a ported stock intake manifold, ported stock throttle body, which I'm switching out for the LT5 throttle body pretty soon. And then the cold air inductions, cold air intake. It's got MSD plug wires. It's got the flex fuel sensor. It's got Texas Speed 2-inch long tube headers. Just all basic bolt-ons pretty much. And then like I said, the bigger throttle body's next, and then my buddy Robert's gonna port the heads for me, and then the BTR stage 2 cam. So that's I'm pretty much doing all NA stuff first, just trying to get the engine over with. So let's go to the interior, show you guys where I'm gonna mount this thing at, or I guess where I'm gonna mount the activation switch. So when you do order the kit, they do not give you a button that comes with it. I just went to AutoZone, picked up this pretty cheap activator button. It's the simplest one that I could find. They had a couple different ones, a couple different flip switches and, you know, whatnot, rocker panels. But I figured since it's gonna be down somewhere kind of by my knees, I didn't want something that I could easily just bump, flip, and turn on, I guess, without realizing. And so this button, I guess, makes it pretty easy. And I'm gonna put it in a spot where if you have a 2SS, I would not recommend putting it on this panel. But if you have a 1SS, I think this panel probably would benefit you the best. Because if you're sitting in the car like this and you want the button to be somewhere next to your shifter, mine's a 8-speed, so obviously auto, and it's going to be pretty much right where your thumb is, right there. It gives you an easy surface to grab onto, press brake or gas, and hold that button for the two-step. Easy to go right to the shifter right there. And I figured right there probably be great, but this is leather. On the 1SS, I believe it comes in a vinyl, like pretty much what's on the door, center console is made out of. But on the 2SS or 1LE models, it is a Alcantara or leather insert, and I didn't really feel like cutting into the leather very much. So what I went ahead and did was peel back this, first took off this panel. It's super easy, just push up on it, it'll pop right out. I took off this panel right here that connects under the lower dash, and I figured this is your next best option, if not the best. It's pretty out of the way, and 9 times out of 10 my knee is hitting this and is not hitting this. So I figured putting the button somewhere right in here would be really good, actually. And if we look behind it, there's nothing in there, and it's pretty. So there is where your wire is going to come through, pretty much through the firewall, come through, tuck it behind this carpet, which runs right back here, and you can easily get it in right there, and just poke this panel back in, and you literally will barely be able to tell that it's not stock. And anyone that isn't paying attention isn't going to notice this little button on that little panel. So that'll be pretty nice, and I think it'll look a lot more clean than a button being cut into a leather or vinyl panel right there. I think that lower panel stops right there, and so if anything, this is going to be a lot cheaper than a brand new leather knee bolster. So I'll take my chance with messing this one up rather than a knee bolster. So pretty much what I'm going to do is start out with a drill that is probably pretty close to that size, and kind of just use that, drill it in, see if I can't get it to screw in. I want it to be as tight and flush as possible so it looks super clean, and because I am very picky, and if it looks ugly, I'm gonna notice that. So got it in the mail. So first unboxing it, pretty much what you get. Fairly simple. So you get the whole wiring harness, 2-step box. So you set it right there. Has the 1000 on the left and hundreds on the right. So if you want to add 4500 to 3500, 2200, 2800, whatever. Find what you launch best at, and that's it. Pretty much everything you need. It really doesn't look that complicated. Before we get started on anything in the engine bay is unplug your coil packs, because you are going to be plugging these in and plugging your old ones into these other connectors. That's why there is 16 connectors on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and each one has 2. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to figure out all the hooking up and that stuff there. And where you want to mount it is completely pretty much up to you. So I have no idea where I want to mount it yet. My buddy has theirs here, but he has to run a longer wire all the way back, which I don't know if I want to get any more wire, which means I might be stuck mounting it to the crossbar back there or something over here. These GM connectors are kind of a pain, especially if you haven't worked on your car a lot before. They're really easy to get out. All you got to do is pop those red things in. There's a little black thing right under this red pin. This first little black lip right there, if you just press on that, it's easier to see on this side. If you just press on that first black tab right there, they pop right out. And you can just do that. Take 2. In for the most part, curl it around. Tie that down. Basically, long story short, the ground is done. Since the last video was pretty much take this trim off. It's super easy. It's just 2 more clips. Instead of bending it and pulling it back like that all the time, figured I'd just pull it out, and it's much easier to access these 2 screws right here to tighten them down completely for the ground and for the blue wire. I did attach the blue wire that comes from MSD that plugs right into the box. I haven't ran it up there yet. I just wanted to get these 2 in, get them tightened down properly so that I wasn't bending the plastic and all that. But now we're gonna move on to the front. We're gonna try and get those ran through the firewall first, see how far they come through, see where I can mount that ground, and then see where I can also mount the box in range of that blue wire. Just got some tips after trying to figure out how to run this and the ground wire through the firewall. I figured since I'm doing nitrous in the future and I got a bunch of other plans for this car, might as well just drill the hole in the firewall rather than trying to get it through one of these other holes and deal with the pain of that, because eventually I'm gonna have to deal with it. Might as well just do it now. And I think this is probably the easiest way for you guys to do it as well. It's going right under the brake booster. So right here, obviously that's your brake booster up there. Press the brakes. That's the hydraulics and all that fun stuff. Right under that, you got all this. This is connected. Just make a clean cut right here, where it kind of, meets with the steering shaft. Just cut right in there, and then you can tuck it back up in there. It'll look OEM pretty much after, and then you can tuck the wires back under there. But for now, just pull this down, and we're gonna drill a hole right in there. Just pull this back like that. We're gonna drill a hole straight through there and get these wires through. Troubleshooting that has gone into making this as clean as possible. and look as professional as possible. It could definitely be done a lot quicker. I took the panel off, like I said, a lot easier to work with. I had both of them ran through, and I figured, well, I might as well just drill a hole in the firewall. I couldn't fit both of them through. It just wasn't working. So I went ahead, drilled a hole in the firewall right next to the steering column, and that comes out right next to the brake booster pretty much. And yeah, so when those go out right there, it will come out pretty much right behind the brake booster. And you can pretty much feel for both your cords. It'll run them right down here. And then here's my ground coming out. And that one right there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how I ran them through there. All right, guys, so pretty much all I've done since the last update was, you guys saw when I got the 2 wires through the hole in the firewall, and then I went ahead, ran that, finished connecting it, and then plugged in the battery, and then all I did was plug it in. And then here, I shouldn't have to explain myself with this one, or else you probably shouldn't have gotten this far in the install anyway. All you have to do is unplug the coil packs, plug them into the dummy plugs, and then plug in the new ones. And right now, I'm not worried about making it look nice, making it look good. Right now, I'm just making sure it starts and making sure, testing if it works, testing to see if the wiring works, and see how it goes for the first time. See if that light comes on. That light should come on when it's activated, when I'm pressing the button, so we shall see. I'm gonna go ahead, put it into neutral, and my button's right here. I already showed you guys that. Just press the button. And it'll hold you there. And then, so yeah, it's as easy as that. Super simple. And button placement makes it super easy just to grab on to the shifter right after, or the steering wheel, whichever one you use, paddles, auto. It's super easy. Also, I am running to the blue cable, not the blue and white cable. You want to make sure you run to the blue cable at all times. The blue and white cable will not work. What's up, guys? So I wanted to do one last video, show you guys where I ended up mounting it, show you guys what it looks like when it's all done up. So it's right here in front of the brake booster. I mounted mine to, believe it or not, this is an old license plate. And I went ahead, I got this idea from Brian Lum. He's one of my good buddies. He is the one that taught me how to do that. He did that on his ZL1. He's got nitrous, bolt-ons, E85, pretty much anything you could put on a ZL1, he has done to it. And he is the inspiration to where I got my holes for my wiring. I'm hanging those right now, and those run back through here to the activator switch, which lights up whenever you press it, which lights up that red button or red light on the MSD box, and it is connected to the blue cord. So whenever you go and connect your two-step, it has 2 cords. It comes with a blue and white one, and it comes with a blue one. Blue one will only activate when grounded. The blue and white one will activate when the 12 volt is activated and or grounded. So always use the blue one unless you're running it through something like a cigarette lighter or something like that, I believe is what that means. But yeah, so pretty much 2-step, super simple to install. I drilled my holes right underneath the brake booster, right behind them pretty much. Just so you guys remember, it's pretty, I mean, they did a pretty good job at tucking up the wires whenever whenever me and my buddies finished up there, so you can't really see the hole, but pretty much right behind the brake booster right there to the right of it is where it comes out. The cord goes behind it back there, is grounded right there, so you can't even see it. And then it's this bracket which runs literally just that one cord, which fits nicely right there. Tucks behind the throttle body very nicely. And if you wanted to even get more technical with it, throw the box through there and run it down below the head and then have it come up if you really wanted it to be hidden. The reason I chose right there is because my buddies have this right here. They have it mounted to this bar right there, and they had to run extra wire all the way behind down to the firewall. I was like, fuck that, no. I'm not mounting it all the way over here just to buy extra cord, do all that now. I'll just leave it over in this corner. And to me, it looks a lot cleaner over here. Theirs is running like over next to the coolant. Like that is way too packed over here already. It's hard enough to get down there. I didn't even want to add another thing in that space, so I just said fuck it, threw it back here. I actually really like this spot. It's so